The first thing you should do if you have a workers' compensation injury is report the injury to your employer. You want to file a first report of injury with your employer directly. Make sure you get that on paper and with whoever your supervisor is. This way, you've made notice with your boss, your supervisor, as to that date, as to the particular circumstances. You have a full year to file your notice of claim with your employer and the Workers' Compensation Commission. But what's the first thing you should do if you have any question regarding your entitlement to benefits or whether or not certain medical treatment should be authorized? These are very urgent circumstances. There's nothing wrong with picking up the phone, calling a board-certified workers' compensation specialist. I strongly suggest you contact Morizio Law Firm should you need any help regarding your workers' compensation claim, and a specialist will be there to help you through it. There's really a two-part situation to eligibility for workers' compensation claims in Connecticut. The first one, you must be an employee of the employer for which you're making a claim against. In order to be an employee, you must work for your employer and you must get paid on the book. It has to be an official employee-employer relationship. Once it is determined that you are an employee by way of an employee-employer relationship, at that time, there's a second prong that must be discovered, and that's whether or not your injury arose within the course of your employment. In general, the statute of limitations in workers' compensation claims is 1 year from the actual date of injury. You have 1 year to file what's called a notice of claim. In this jurisdiction, it's called a Form 30C. We have to file that 30C with our employer and with the relevant Workers' Compensation Commission district within which you were injured. As long as that form is filed within 1 year, you're covered for purposes of your work injury and the jurisdiction. Now the question is, did this work injury occur within the course of your employment? You will know that an attorney, especially a board-certified specialist, is required on your case if your employer or the insurance company is not paying prompt benefits or authorizing medical treatment for which you are in need. In those circumstances, and in the event that you have to go into the courtroom, it's typically suggested that you hire a workers' compensation specialist attorney. The truth of the matter is it depends on the facts of your case and really the significance of your injury. How is this injury impacting my return back to work? If you're incapable of gainful employment after your injury, it's usually a very good idea to consult with an attorney. All employers in the state of Connecticut are required to carry workers' compensation insurance. In the minority of cases, in the event that your employer is not insured, there are still remedies to be sought, but not against the employer that's uninsured. Those cases get referred to the state of Connecticut, and the Attorney General has a fund that we work to obtain your benefits and any need for medical treatment. The good news is, even if your employer didn't do the right thing, the state of Connecticut is going to step into the shoes of the uninsured employer once the claim is filed with the Workers' Compensation Commission. There is a common misconception that you are filing this claim when you have a work injury against your boss. That's not the case. Every employer, if they're doing it right, is insured for work injuries within the state of Connecticut. By law, your employer has to have workers' compensation insurance. So you are not bringing a claim against your employer themselves, your boss, if you're filing a workers' compensation claim. In essence, what you're doing is filing a claim against their insurance company. My advice, file a first report of injury as soon as the injury occurs. As an individual who works day to day understanding the nuances of workers' compensation law in Connecticut and on behalf of the injured worker. That's me, that's my firm, that's Morizio Law Firm.